Hello and welcome to the White Trash Voltaire podcast. I'm your host, Spike Spiegel, aka Caleb, and I'm asking the hard questions like, what the hell is a data dog? Due to transportation-related issues, my co-host Matthew Vehemity is half-assing his appearance via cell phone today, further proving that he is the purest embodiment of the White Trash Voltaire. And Sam is also here as well. So, how's it going, guys? What's up this week?
Well, I am in the romanticide demo room, naked, drinking the Four Loko in a beanbag chair. So things are pretty great in my life.
Sounds about like what I expect to be pretty much the average day for you, Matt.
Now,
yeah, it's kind of a high point in my week.
If you're wondering where I'm at, in the romanticide demo room, there is a closet. I am not there. I'm at my house. How's it going, guys?
Okay. So, I mean, I'm glad that we know about the closet that is in the romanticide demo room now. And I feel like closet. That was probably the most important thing we learned here. So, I'm just hanging out in the White Trash Voltaire studio, Arkansas branch, you know, like normal, looking at computer screens and waveforms and dealing with all of the complicated technical stuff that you guys don't ever have to worry about.
Oh, you want to talk technical, Caleb?
Yeah.
Hey,
I had to pick up my iPhone.
Yeah. That must have been really hard for you, Matt, because on account of the fact that you're like one of those newfangled kids that doesn't ever like phone call and stuff, because that's not what you do anymore. Newfangled kids, right?
I don't know what you're talking about. I like phone calls.
I don't really phone call anymore. I guess I'm one of those newfangled kids. How about Sam? Do you ever phone call?
I used to get paid to do phone calls, and I still kind of get paid to do phone calls. But outside of being paid to do it, no. Phones are awful.
Well, it's kind of. I feel like for Sam, it's kind of like being a porn star. They get paid to have sex, so outside of their job, they don't have a lot of sex.
I feel like I was a phone porn star for a while.
What are you wearing? Jeans?
Khakis?
Wow.
What are you doing? Watching really pretentious movies?
They're not pretentious. You're pretentious.
Oh, you probably haven't heard of it.
Well, in my case, most people haven't heard of the movie. And
exactly.
I don't really want to explain what it
my
is
point.
I don't want to explain it to them. It's like, what did you see?
Well, okay, so there is this Korean film where a girl thought she was a robot, and then a guy thought that she wasn't a robot, and he sought to prove that she was not a robot. And you know what? That was a touching movie.
That was a good movie. I thought it was a bit too violent for my taste. I
think that you're actually describing an episode of Futurama where Fry is put in a robot insanity institute and believes he's a robot, and everyone is trying to disprove him from being a robot.
No, I think we're talking about a Korean movie called, what is it called? I'm an android. I think it's called I'm an android, and that's okay. It's not robot, but it's about being a robot and that being okay.
Yeah, and you know what? Right, K-pop star Rain yodels in it.
Yeah, everybody loves Rain.
Oh, dude, Rain never gets old.
But
I'm a cyborg, but that's okay.
I'm a cyborg. That's the one. Okay, so yeah, that's the movie that I was referencing, because that's the one that I can think of that Sam has had me watch.
Or what about Save the Green Planet?
Save the Green Planet.
But the thing about Old Boy is that, dude, you didn't. I never watched Save the Green Planet.
Consider yourself.
Save the Green Planet is worth a watch.
Yeah. Make sure you bring it. Make sure you have a pack of cigarettes on you, because you're gonna want to smoke them afterwards.
Yeah, because you're gonna feel mind fucked.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
you better put a condom on that DVD, bud.
You know, Stephanie hadn't smoked for like 5 years up until that point, and then that movie caused her to start smoking cigarettes again.
Sam, was I smoking when we watched that movie?
No, but you went outside and started smoking a cigarette. I was like, where did you get the cigarette, Matt?
I'm like, don't worry, it's my emergency cig.
And then Stephanie bummed one off of you.
This movie seems serious.
Well, it is, and it's one of my favorite movies of all time. And I know a certain guy named who says it's his favorite movie of all time. What does that tell you, Matt, about that person?
I'm not entirely sure which person you're talking about.
I don't want to mention my name, but he was in the Misadventures of Dr. Von Hahn. Or, I'm sorry, the Nefarious Schemes of Dr. Von Hahn as the protagonist, the male protagonist.
Oh man, that's like a dead giveaway as to who it is, because anybody can just search that video on YouTube at Crown Hill Productions YouTube page, youtube.com/Crown Hill Productions, and the video called The Nefarious Schemes of Dr. Von Hahn, and how you could totally, in the credits, it says what his name is.
You know what?
And while you're there,
I'm not picking up your connection.
And also, while you're there, you could hit that like button.
And if you want, check out the other videos and like those too, and share them.
And thumbs up everywhere. Put them on Facebook. Yeah, definitely. And also, if you happen to be a member of any like forums or groups or anything like that, you could share the videos there as well. And I mean, all these things are things that you could do if you were so inclined. But anyway, so yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say about that.
I think the whole point here is that Save the Green Planet takes you on a journey, whether it is through conversation or physically watching it.
Okay, well, we'll see if I ever see that movie.
I think it was on Netflix for a while.
And if a listener has seen the movie and has comments about it, feel free to comment. We have a website you can comment on. It's called thewhitetrashvoltaire.com. And you can comment right underneath this very audio clip that you're listening to. Because odds are you're listening to it on thewhitetrashvoltaire.com. Because if you're not listening to it on thewhitetrashvoltaire.com, then you're probably listening to a pirated version, which is weird because this is free.
Sorry, guys. I haven't put this on the Pirate Bay.
Oh, what Pirate Bay?
Oh, it'll be back. February. It's like 7 days away.
Serious?
It's gonna be, yeah. There's a countdown.
Yeah.
I'm actually quite excited. I'm not even going to hide that fact. I enjoy the Pirate Bay's existence. I'm not going to say what I may or may not have gotten from the Pirate Bay, but I will say that I enjoy that it exists.
What do you do on this Pirate Bay, Matt? Please tell us in detail and give your address away.
I go there and I just stay on the homepage. I don't download anything, if that's what you're asking.
Okay.
Because that would be illegal, slightly, kind of. Anyway.
Oh, 3 days, 9 hours, 58 minutes, and 52 seconds.
That's fantastic. So what are you guys drinking? Obviously, I'm drinking a Four Loko lemonade.
Four Loko lemonade. What is that? What does that even mean?
Are you not versed in the ways of the Four Loko, Sam?
I'm really not. Like, I really don't know what this is. Everyone talks about it, and I just smile and nod like I know what's going on, but I really don't.
Four Loko is the drink that people want to drink. Anybody who vaguely says something like, go hard in the paint, or I'm going to go ham, any sort of phrase like that, chances are they're going to drink one Four Loko and then maybe like 2 shots of something else, black out, and end up 2 countings away from where they started.
That sounds like we need to hang out again.
It is a 23 floral ounce drink, 12% alcohol volume, but it's an energy drink. So it's an upper and a downer, and it tells your heart to do jumping jacks while on sleeping pills.
Sounds healthy.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
No.
I have seen Romanticide do some insane things on Four Loko, and it is not an everyday drink. It is a sometimes drink.
Now, you asked us what Caleb and I are drinking, and there's kind of a funny story behind this. We're drinking terrible. What we're drinking is terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's funny too because I was like talking to Sam yesterday. I was like, I've got some terrible drink that I'm gonna drink, and he's like, dude, I have a terrible drink I'm gonna drink also. And then
what are the odds being like 10 states away from each other, picking up the most random, never tried before beer, and it being the exact same one?
Yeah. So I said, hey, you wanna have a? I was like, you wanna have a terrible beer review? and Sam was like, yeah, let's have a terrible beer review. The beer in question is terrible. I believe it's actually supposed to be pronounced in the French way, so it should be like terrible or something like that. Terrible.
Yeah, because it's actually from Unibroue Brewing Company, which, if you remember from our last podcast, made Trader Joe's vintage ale.
As well as making Trois Pistoles, which I happened to be drinking that day as well. Yeah, these guys are pretty good at this beer thing. Everyone I've had from them has been good so far, and so we're gonna give this one a try real quick. 2 different bottles, many states away from one another, but I think the concept's gonna be the same. You want to try to do a simultaneous uncorking?
We'll see how this goes.
All right, we'll count it down.
Can I actually do the countdown since I'm not uncorking
Matt
anything?
will do the countdown.
All right.
We are both in corking position.
You both ready?
Yep, ready to cork.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Oh man. So my beer was more carbonated than Sam's apparently, because the slightest tap of that cork.
Yours went off before the one, though.
What? No.
No, it didn't.
We may have we may have a different delay somehow between us and Matt. It gets really complicated whenever all 3 parties are in separate locations.
I heard the cork poppings after I said 1, and they were slightly different times than one another, but they were both considerably, I felt very happy about them.
Well, mine has so much head, it's ridiculous. Look at this, Caleb. Look at this. Where is yours? Why do you not have... so tiny.
I used a careful pour technique.
Well, so did I. My glass is developed for pouring this out. And I guess my head is so big and yours is kind of small.
Well, I'm smelling this, and it smells really good. That's my review.
How does it smell? Since I'm physically with neither of you, I will ask questions for the listener, because I'm just as curious as anyone else. I have no way of knowing what this drink is.
Well, there's certainly fruit happenings. Alcohol can be smelled, and a bit of just sweetness. Let me take a sip of this and see how I feel.
It's incredibly sweet.
Yes. It's very sweet.
Oh wait, this is 10.5% alcohol.
It has a slight metallic note to it in the middle of the tongue.
Metallic,
which is
as
not
in
which is not to say that it's a bad thing. Sometimes a metallic note is unwelcome, but sometimes it's good. Most of the time, I would say it's unwelcome in a beer, but sometimes it's good if the other combination of flavors is right. But yes, a metallic.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're drinking blood, then I mean the metallic taste is to be expected. So I mean, you account for that, and then the blood is okay. But I wouldn't want a metallic taste in my milk.
It's fairly complex. But you know, it is a dark ale, which it kind of falls in line with most dark ales in that it is it has a lot of caramely flavor to it and a lot of fruity flavors to it. Dark fruit flavors, like I don't know, like you know, maybe like raisins or figs or dates, stuff like that. But it does have that metallic note, which is
I'm not getting a metallic note.
Standout feature. Although, well, it could be, my beer could be at a different temperature than yours. Mine is rather warm.
See, mine is warm too. I'm getting a really like dark feeling out of this beer. Yes, the beer is dark, but it just tastes dark. So smooth and malty, very malty.
Mm-hmm. No, I do get a very discernible metallic note to it, but it's not an offensive taste. It's I've had beers where there was a metallic taste that was just completely off-putting, and then I've had some where it's nice, just fits with the other flavors nicely, and this is one of them. I'm enjoying this beer quite a bit. I don't know about Sam, but I'm really enjoying this.
I don't know. I feel really.
It sounds like I'm gonna have to go out and try it.
I feel really neutral about it. Like
kind of the way that you felt neutral about the Trader Joe's 2014.
No.
Or the 2013. Which one was it?
14. Yeah, I don't know. It kind of is the same way. It's like it's really adequate. It's not nasty. There's nothing about it I don't like, but I just don't. I don't know. I don't care about it.
It doesn't stand out to you.
No. I'm enjoying it quite a bit, but I will say I will say that while I am enjoying it, it's not likely to become a regular purchase of mine. But you know, that happens to me a lot, and I can enjoy a beer that one time and be glad that I had tried it. But it doesn't necessarily become part of my rotation. But I would say that it at the very least is another beer that I can chalk up to being perfectly. I mean, it sounds so negative to say perfectly adequate, but it's true in the sense that.
What is your best before date on yours?
January 18th, 2018.
Mine's September 15th, 2018. Now, this has yeast in it, so
that might have a difference.
It does have yeast in it, which means that as it ages, it changes flavor.
Yeah.
So me and Sam are drinking two different vintages by over half a year difference between these two beers, which could be. I mean, it could be enough for a beer, you know, a beer with an active yeast culture to change flavor a little bit. I think it's a good beer. I think it's a sexy looking beer. I think it's a beer that I can definitely chalk up to Unibroue. You know, I can give them credit for having produced another good beer. Like I said, I probably won't end up in my regular rotation by any means, but it's a beer that it just adds to their reputation as being capable brewers, which can't be said for a lot of breweries.
You know what it reminds me of?
Yeah,
it almost reminds me of the 2013 ale.
Yeah, I was true when you were describing it. The way that you were describing it reminded me of the way that you described the 2013 ale. So that's what brought it to mind. It honestly makes me want to go out and try it because I enjoyed both the Unibroes that Sam and I tried in the previous podcast, and definitely the previous ale, more so than the 2013, but the 2013 wasn't bad.
I thought the 2013 was the oldest.
Yeah, the 13 was.
Oh, was it?
The 14 was the newer of the two.
Yeah, 13 is the one that was
okay. Because when you were describing it, I brought to mind the 14. I'm sorry. But that is interesting. I actually am interested to go try it now.
I think you should. I would recommend that you try it because even if it may not be Sam's cup of tea, and even if it may not be something that I would put into my rotation, it is certainly a good beer. That
well, the fact that it's not either of your guys' necessarily cup of tea or the thing that you would drink regularly, the fact that you can say good things about it honestly means more to its review. Personally, the fact that it's not the sort of beer that you would maybe typically drink casually.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that Unibroue, if you're looking for a beer and you see a Unibroue, it's probably a safe bet to buy it. I have another beer from Unibroue that I will be reviewing soon. That I've already had one bottle of, and I'm going to be having another bottle of, and I will be giving my final thoughts on. But it is, I will get a preliminary, just a quick preliminary word on it. It is something special. It is quite special, which is why I'm going to give it a second bottle before I say anything about it, because it is it's something that deserves a second go around before I write a review or really put any official words out for it. But it's special. It is a special brew.
Is it like I hate myself for saying this, but I was talking about it recently with someone. Is it like Napoleon Dynamite? A lot of people say you have to watch it twice to be able to get it. You have to give it 2 tastes before you can properly feel like you can review it.
No, it's nothing like that. It's like this beer. This beer is magnificent on a level that I feel like that it would be an injustice to it to put out a review with having only one taste of it. If that's fair.
Fair enough.
If you understand what I'm saying. Because there's specialness. There are flavors in this beer that I've never tasted in any other beer before. So it's something that I have to taste it again to make sure that I wasn't crazy whenever I was drinking it the first time, so that I can give it an honest appraisal. But it's my first experience with it was magnificent. It is special, very special.
That is very exciting. I'm actually going to keep myself from asking you what it is until the next podcast, because I am anxious to hear what you're going to say about it after a second tasting. I want to hear it with fresh ears as the listeners are hearing it.
That sounds good, yes. I will definitely be talking about it next podcast. And then one more thing I would like to say about that one. It is beer that I will also be putting some into reserve for long-term aging. Much in the same way that Sam has done with the 2013 and now 14 vintage ales from Trader Joe's. It is a beer that is intended to be aged. So that is one that I will be putting in the reserve for aging, and we'll be revisiting later on as well. So
interesting.
Yes. So, now that we've got. I'm
not done. I am not done talking. I really can't say anything about this beer.
You say your things, Sam.
Matt, do you remember what the alcohol content of the last beer we reviewed was?
Say that again?
Do you remember what the alcohol content of the last beer was?
I want to say it was about 9.
Okay. Well, I mean, this is like 10.5, but this is one I like to see what the alcohol content is in 1 year. Because, guys, beer and Sam doesn't mix too well.
You mean, and by that, Sam means that beer and Sam mix in the most magnificent way you could hope for alcohol and a person to mix.
Sam is the type of person that can drink rum and Coke or like a dark and stormy all night, and by the end of the night, he's extremely loopy. But up until the end of the night, or like, 3/4, he is completely fine. But you give Sam like one good beer, and he's automatically like right out of the ballpark.
Guys, I drank out of a mini snifter, and I'm already kind of like, hey, I'm gonna take my shirt off.
Beer does.
I'm gonna take my shirt off. I'm gonna go out into the middle of the road. Twizzlers look like they go in buttholes.
I think it's because I think my body digests beer differently because beer is like liquid bread. So it like digests it differently than hard liquor. Because hard liquor I hold very, very well.
I believe that what I believe about Sam is that beer, for whatever reason, does something in addition to just. It's not just the alcohol. I think that there's something else happening for Sam than just intoxication from beer. I think that there's some other kind of chemical reaction happening in Sam's body, and I understand it because beer, it does similar things to me, though not to the extent. Sam is out of his mind on very little beer, but I certainly understand it. It's to me, I experience this kind of thing most with like really good quality beers like this, like the one that we're drinking today. There's just like a warmth and happiness deep inside that is brought out by these beers that I don't get from hard liquor. It makes me feel a way, and it's probably a combination of the carbonation and the high alcohol content. When you consider the amount of beer that you would drink in a glass, and these have relatively high alcohol contents for beer. I mean, at 10.5%, if you drank a glass of this, you're drinking, a decent amount of alcohol into your body all at once. And I don't really understand it, but beer is different. It's different in that way, and it's beautiful, and I love it.
Yeah, it makes me fuzzy and warm and like happy. Like
I feel like it might be a heritage thing for Sam.
What is that supposed to mean?
I feel like somewhere along Sam's genetic lineage is a family of people that just prefer a liking to beer.
No. I'm telling you that
really?
now. No, yeah, it's all whiskey for them.
I think it's just.
Well, that's the same for my family too. My whole family, because I'm Indian, and then the rest of me is from Kentucky. So
I think you like the same genetic things going on with their other family. Like I said, I hold my hard liquor very well. Like half a bottle of rum before I even start to get loopy.
Oh, I know. You and I have gone bar hopping together.
Your family, here's what it is. Your family, genetically, you've built up an immunity to hard liquor, which you have not to beer. Because your family learned how to hold their hard liquor. But, beer is not an efficient way to get drunk.
It's really not. I don't understand how people can do it, because it makes me full. Because it's food. It's liquid food.
Yeah, I mean, this, like, beers, especially these kinds of beers, these dark beers.
Mm-hmm.
They're bread. I mean, they're bread in liquid form.
Yeah, I feel like full.
It's bread that you didn't bake.
Yeah, I was kind of getting peckish there for a little while, but then I drank that small glass, and now I'm like, yeah, I'm stuffed.
Well, a lot of these beer styles were developed by a lot of these beer styles that we drink now. These dark beers were developed by monks in monasteries to stay alive during times of like long periods of time of fasting. I mean, that's what they. I mean, you find a lot of ales, dark ales, are either brewed by monks or are inspired by the brewing techniques and recipes of, monks who brewed in monasteries. They brewed beer to keep them alive while they were fasting. So it is absolutely sustenance.
If I didn't work in a customer service position, I would totally fast that way. I'm not going to eat food.
Can you imagine?
I'm not going to eat food for a month and then just drink beer the entire month.
Can you imagine how awesome that would be? I mean, just think about yourself being a monk, okay? Being a monk probably sucks in general. I mean, it's probably a sucky existence. But man, if you're fasting on a diet of just pure beer, just dark, delicious, magnificent beer, handcrafted by your very hands to your very specific specifications, and that's your food. Oh man, that's got to be a wonderful experience. No wonder those guys have whatever connection they do to God. That connection to God was fostered and developed by beer.
I read somewhere that beer is proof that God wants us to be happy in life.
Yep.
I've actually read that as well.
I believe it.
Beer is, in my opinion, our conduit to God.
Yeah.
I mean, what does it do? It tastes wonderful.
It gives us nutrients.
It gives us nutrients, and it reduces our inhibition, which makes us speak honestly. How much more godly can you get?
Hey, Caleb, you're bald. I'm just being honest.
True. It's true. I have no hair. That's true. Oh man,
now
wonderful.
What's Four Loko?
So now, Matt, I believe Matt wanted to review his drink as well. So take it away, Matt.
Well, the great thing about me reviewing this is that while you guys have been talking, I've been drinking more of it.
Mm-hmm. Your point?
What I will say, I'm tingly. I am not sober.
Oh man, I'll tell you what, I'm tingly, and I have over half of this bottle to go.
Same here.
So I'm excited.
I'm not gonna finish my bottle. I gotta save it for my wife. She wanted some too. So tomorrow night,
I'm gonna finish my bottle. This is gonna be fun. So Matt, continue with your review.
Well, what I will say is that if regular beer is a conduit to God, Four Loko is a bastard son that was struck down and is caught in limbo. Okay. Taking the first sip, because that I haven't been drinking it, I'm going to take a drink and try to define the
What's
flavors.
the smell like? What are you getting off of the on the nose? What kinds of qualities are you finding on the nose? Any undertones?
Malt and lemonade. It's very, very basic.
So some lemony overtones, and some malty and lemony overtones.
Yeah, very, very mature.
Would you say that you're picking up on any ginseng undertones or caffeine undertones?
It would not surprise me if ginseng were in this drink. Being a musician and an entertainer, I go on huge binges of energy drinks. So that general flavor is very recognizable for me. And I can definitely taste those signature flavors in this.
Mm. Especially the flavor of caffeine. I'm sure you can taste plenty of caffeine in there.
Yeah, it is loaded, and it is very, very carbonated. Like, it is like it attacks your mouth with carbonation and dizziness.
It wants to kill you.
And it is desperately trying to make an attempt.
Mm-hmm. I've never had one. I'm grasping at straws here. I'm throwing things against the wall, seeing what sticks.
No, you would actually be quite right. I feel part of the reason I keep drinking this drink is I almost feel challenged. I took one first sip, and what the drink said to me in that first sip was, "Hey, my name's Four Loko Lemonade. You want to fight?" And my brain responded with, "Fuck yeah, Four Loko, let's go at it." So I keep drinking, and mid-fight, Four Loko is like, "Man, you know you want to drink the rest of this, because I want to kill you." And I'm like, "Yeah, Four Loko, I bet you do." But I kept drinking it.
You know what's funny about that particular story? That particular set of scenarios that you just laid out there about that drink you're drinking. What's hilarious about that is that I have totally never experienced that. Never. Continue.
Well, I'm around half can right now, and a half can deep. I'm gonna talk about that because you're not really drinking this drink for the flavor. I'm gonna tell you that right now. You're not drinking because it tastes amazing. It tastes like an asshole energy drink with like artificial lemon flavoring.
I know exactly what that tastes like. And it just so happens
to get you very drunk. Do what?
So I know exactly what that tastes like.
It wouldn't surprise me. It doesn't taste bad, but it doesn't taste like a craft beer. It doesn't taste amazing. So I'm about half a can deep, and I'm feeling tingly. I'm definitely feeling like energetic. I don't feel like I drank a significant amount of alcohol and want to go lay down. So yeah, for those that want to spend like $3 on Four Loko and not drink really, really nice beer, but have a stupid, insane night, yeah, I would definitely recommend this drink.
Well, all this talk about energy drinks makes me think back to one time whenever I was hanging out at Sam's house. And this had to have been like back when we were in probably like 10th grade or something like that. 9th grade,
no,
10th grade.
We were like 8th or 9th grade. We weren't allowed to hang out in the 10th grade.
Okay, yeah, 9th grade. Yeah, my parents thought that Sam was going to be a serial killer.
And look who ended up being the killer. Not me. It was Caleb.
I didn't kill anybody either.
We don't talk about that.
Neither of us ended up being a killer.
That's alleged. Nothing has been proven.
Well, okay, none of this is true. Well, the part about my parents thinking that Sam was a serial killer was true. It's because he wore a trench coat that one time.
Dude, I wore a trench coat. I wore a trench coat to work, and people were calling me a serial killer.
Were they also calling you a vampire when you slicked your hair back?
Yeah, when I was at the theater.
Yeah, people actually thought that you were actually a vampire. Yeah. Like a real like they really believed in it.
Like, guys, this is the year 2000 and whatever. Vampires don't exist.
Anyway,
that's exactly what a vampire would say. That's like the perfect time for a vampire.
Yeah, you know what? That's what all vampires say. It's not like I haven't ever heard that one before.
Well, not.
Okay, so anyway, all this talk of energy drinks makes me think back to that one time in the 9th grade, because it wasn't the 10th grade, because me and Sam weren't allowed to hang out in the 10th grade on account of the fact that my parents thought that Sam was a serial killer. Me and Sam and Matt were hanging out one time, and we walked to the gas station in Sam's neighborhood. Granted, and keep in mind that Sam's neighborhood was not the greatest place ever. But that doesn't really have any bearing on the story, though, because we just went to the gas station and nothing happened except for that I think either me or Sam, or perhaps a combination of the two, gave Matt enough money to buy a Monster Energy drink. That's all I had. That's all that I had. It was just a story about that one time that we went to the gas station and me or Sam, or the combination of both of us, I can't remember exactly, bought Matt a Monster Energy drink.
Remember that time that we didn't play a sports game? That these guys...
Oh, I totally remember that time. One time we ran into some people from the neighborhood, some other kids, and they were like, we were all, just talking about stuff, like, and then we decided we were going to play football, right? It was football, right?
Yeah, football.
Yeah, so we were going to play football.
Oh yeah, it was definitely football.
And we claimed
those kids did not play anything else.
We claimed that we were gonna meet up at a certain time, at the school football field, right? Because there's like an elementary school nearby or something. So anyway,
it was actually the school that I grew up going to.
Me and Sam were hanging out, and
Matt was there,
and
we decided to go to Kmart instead.
We just decided to go to Kmart instead, and then we played with foam. We played with foam swords. We smacked each other with foam swords, and then didn't Matt buy a DVD that was rated R or something, or was it Sam?
No, I think that was DVD? No. I think it was Matt was buying an R-rated DVD.
Yeah, and they totally did not check Matt's ID.
No, I actually feel like I may have bought a video game. I think it might have been an M-rated video game.
It was either an M-rated video game or an R-rated movie. And the point is that Matt was like 12 years old, and they didn't check his ID, but they checked
we
Sam's
joke about
ID.
this. Yeah, we joke about this, but at that time, Matt was literally 12 years old.
He was literally 12 years old at that time. And they didn't check his ID. They were like, yeah, you look like you could buy this game or movie or whatever it was.
I think the point was we ditched the football game, and then we felt bad about it.
Yeah. So anyway, we ditched the football game. We felt bad about it, so we ended up going back. Ended up going to the field where we were supposed to meet up and play football, and the kids we were supposed to meet up with weren't there either. So we were like, whatever. So anyway, we were walking back home, back to Sam's house, and then we ran into those kids that we were supposed to play football with, and we were like, oh man, we totally ditched you guys, sorry. And they were like, oh man, you know what, we totally ditched you too.
And then we got pissed off at them because, like, seriously, you ditched us?
We were mad at them because it was like, okay, it was one thing if we ditched them, that's like whatever, it's us.
Because we're obviously better than them, let's be honest.
Yeah, but if other people ditch us, that's like a serious offense. That offends me.
Freaking assholes.
So yeah.
We gave you our word that we may show up, and you didn't take it seriously.
Oh,
That's ridiculous.
We were very serious about showing up to play some football.
We were very serious about possibly showing up if we found the time and had nothing better to do.
I do want to point out, that's the last time I ever saw one of those kids who at that time, or right before then, was my bestest friend in the entire world.
Is that really the last time you saw him?
Yeah.
There was a falling out
That's
after
insane.
that.
That was the falling out because he became so obsessed with sports, and I'm like, dude, sports are stupid. And he felt the opposite that I did, so we just stopped being friends last time I ever saw him.
And that's really sad because I doubt he's in the NFL right now.
No, no. I'm friends with him on Facebook. We're cool now. But yeah, and you know, Matt, you know.
Well, I probably shouldn't ask that on the podcast.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. But we'll talk about that later. But yeah, you know my relationship with him, so you understand because like the way that me and Caleb are now, that's how we were.
Yeah, but me and Sam, our relationship is not in danger because me and Sam, we tight.
We tight, yeah. Yo,
and there's no number.
I'm married. It's okay.
There's no number of states between us.
To a woman.
I'm divorced, so anything can happen. But there's no number of states
Nothing
between
off
us.
The table for Caleb.
There's no number. Hey, I'm single. Anybody who's lives in Arkansas who's a woman.
I wouldn't say that on this show. There are certain viewers or listeners.
I am very much. I have a wife. I got married. I came down to Arkansas, found a wife. First week I was here.
Guess what, guys? I don't have a penis.
Yeah, I left it in Indiana. I totally forgot. It was in my apartment.
You guys aren't gonna believe this. I didn't pack it.
It happens. It happens to the best of us. But anyway, yeah. So, no amount of states will keep me and Sam apart. We are hetero life mates, even though Sam has a wife. But that's okay because she's cool with it.
Yeah, and I'm hetero life mates with her too.
That sounds like a very strange kind of polyamory.
Hey, it's something I'm into. What can I say? There's a lot of love to go around.
Well, I mean, I feel like the hetero life mates.
A lot of Sam.
I feel like that being a hetero life mate, the relationship of being hetero life mate between a male and female would probably be, pretty much what you'd expect out of a relationship between a male and a female who are both heterosexuals.
I don't see where you're going with this, Caleb.
Oh, I'm sorry. They probably bang sometimes.
Like pots and pans? Like they bang pots and pans?
That's what they do.
We're in a band. What can I say?
Well, they have a kitchen, and Stephanie is quite the cook.
We're like the White Stripes.
So
we are in a relationship, in a band, and we make food. With our music.
That band Stomp?
That is
does
gross.
Stomp exist
Sam,
anymore?
you should not say that ever.
What?
That compare yourself to the White Stripes. Because one, Jack White is amazing. Two, Meg White is kind of hideous.
Incredibly mediocre. They're also divorced.
And mediocre.
Like, incredibly mediocre. He was the talent in that band.
He's still the talent. He's solo now, and he's amazing.
Yeah, he's solo in his relationship, too.
Yeah, he only deserves to be with himself.
Yeah.
The only relationship that can live up to him is him being with himself.
Sounds about right. I'm just saying I was just comparing because that was the only couple band I could think of.
I really don't even think you should ever do that again because I like your wife.
Fine. I wasn't saying
in the relationship. I honestly would almost say she's Jack White.
You know what's weird about Sam and Stephanie is that I knew Sam for many years before I ever met Stephanie, but I met Stephanie and knew her for probably a year or a year and a half or something like that before Sam ever even met her. I was friends with Stephanie, and she was just Stephanie, and then I was friends with Sam, and he was just Sam. But then all of a sudden, they're like married. A lot of people can probably relate with the idea of their friend being married to someone who they don't know. And so that person is just, that's just that person's wife. And that's all they are to them. And maybe you develop a friendship with that person, but they're still just that person's wife. Stephanie is an actual person to me. But she's also Sam's wife.
I'm glad you feel that she's a real person.
Well, hey, I mean, people, married people. Their wives, the person that you knew first, their wife is probably just their wife. Their wife is probably just their wife now.
I don't know married people anymore. Every married person I know that's not my parents got divorced. And my parents got divorced.
Whatever.
And then they remarried.
You have a couple of brothers who are married.
So does that mean that you no longer know your parents because they got divorced but then remarried?
Yeah, that's how that actually works.
Yeah.
Like within the context of this conversation, Sam no longer knows his parents.
I didn't know who you guys are.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, it's weird because he lived with his parents for like a long time, like 25 years. He lived with his parents.
You would get out of bed and be like, who are you?
Because 25 years is more years than Sam's been on this earth.
Well, yeah, consider the 9 months.
That's just testament to the severity of the situation.
If you think about the 9 months, that's probably just about in line. I mean, probably a couple of months shy, but
yeah, I'm like a month shy of 25 years.
So there you go.
Wait, no.
Sam's real age is 24 and we'll say 3/4. 24 and 3/4. We'll say.
No, like way less than that. I just turned 24 last month.
Yeah, but 9 months in the womb.
Oh yeah.
We're talking about real age here, not that BS, fluff age that they give you whenever you come out of your mom's You know.
What, Caleb?
You know, down south area.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Could you say the word?
The pants?
That way I could jog my memory.
You know, birth canal. There you go.
It's not ringing a bell.
Whenever you come out of your mom's birth canal. So anyway, I think it's fair to say that your true date of birth is not the day that you come out of your mom's birth canal, but whenever you come out of your dad's fertilization canal. Yeah, it's your dad. He defines your birthday. So there you go. I have officially taken us to a place.
Well, I'm still waiting for Caleb to say vagina and penis.
You know.
I don't think I've ever heard Caleb say that.
I've heard him say penis before.
Well, I got no problem saying penis.
Yeah.
Because I have one of those.
He likes it.
So I feel entitled.
He likes them.
No. I feel entitled to say that because I have one of those. But the thing is that, you know, I don't have the other thing.
What other thing? What are we talking about? Could you tell me with one word?
I like to call it the danger zone because there's a lot of danger that can happen in there. I mean, a lot, depending on other circumstances. That's all I'm saying.
Caleb, you have just inspired my next sexual endeavor to feature the song Danger Zone.
Okay.
So, feel very happy about that.
Because there's a lot of danger. I'm just saying. There's a lot of diseases that can be harbored there. Plus children.
Yeah. And you can hide, like, knives.
There are diseases and also parasites ready to be made.
Guys, I'm more concerned about the knives that can be hidden up there. There is a woman who went into a jail hiding a full knife, just like.
Oh, okay. So there was a woman. Okay, on that topic, there was a woman who hid a .22 caliber Derringer in her vagina.
So he said it.
So
he said it.
So there you go,
Matt. He said it.
But if you put me on the spot,
you said Derringer.
Yeah, it was natural. It was conversational. I mean, we were talking about Derringers. So now the listeners know what we were talking about this whole time.
I was considering putting a couple bullets in a Derringer and a woman's Derringer this weekend.
A couple of bullets?
Yeah, hey? There are some. I've seen some Derringers that put 2 bullets in.
Oh yeah. You know, they're oftentimes capable.
Well, maybe I would have tried to squeeze extra ones, but you know me.
Well, they're oftentimes capable of supporting multiple bullets. You know, at least 2, sometimes up to 4, depending on the Derringer. But you know, that's territory that most people don't want to go to.
Yeah.
But it's weird to know that Matt is willing to go with 2 bullets into a single Derringer.
I'm a 1 bullet.
Hey man, I was left on the edge.
Well, yeah, myself as well. A 1 bullet, and 1 bullet only. You know. Now, look, I'm not saying that 2 Derringers wouldn't be. You know, if the situation ever came about, I don't know. I don't know that I would. But more than 1 bullet into 1 Derringer, I don't know about that.
I mean, well, okay. I have done the whole 2 Derringer game, and it's interesting. But honestly, it gets old after a while. You're going to put a bullet in it. It's going to go off. And then you're going to put a bullet in the other one, and it's going to go off. It's the same
you only got
thing.
1 bullet between 2 guns.
You want to find 1 good Derringer that's going to love you.
Yeah. I suppose.
You only got 1 bullet between 2 guns. I mean, how is that supposed to work?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that puts the 1 bullet into a severe disadvantage because, I mean,
you could throw the other Derringer.
There's only, I mean, but seriously, the bullet's only gonna fire in 1 Derringer, and you know,
I feel like that makes the other Derringer feel a little jaded.
Yeah, I know. I feel like that it's just a bad situation. But so anyway, how about that Fantastic Four trailer?
Wow, what a great transition.
Apparently they're making a Fantastic Four movie, another one. And there was a trailer that came out, and I watched it. And Sam watched it. And Matt, did you watch that trailer?
I've seen the still. Like, the picture where it's all of them, and there's like this giant lightning bolt. Kind of what I did.
I watched the trailer. Sam watched the trailer. Matt saw a still image, so let's talk about that.
I saw that it was confirmed, essentially.
Let's talk about that. Here's what I'll say right off the bat.
Can I first say that I'm actually kind of disappointed to hear that that's happening, because I've never been a huge fan of the comic series, and the movies were awful.
Can I tell you, Matt, that as a person who hates the Fantastic Four, like, I hate the comics, I hate the movies, this movie looks awesome.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say awesome. It looks promising.
That's what I would say as well. I definitely wouldn't go so far as to give it the judgment that it looks awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But it has potential. It is very dramatic. The trailer has a very dramatic tone to it, which I feel like might be a bit too much for the subject matter, because at one point, extremely dramatic narration is happening, and Mr. Fantastic stretches his arm out, and they don't show much of it, and I feel like they did that on purpose to try to stop it from being too ridiculous.
Because you can't have super dramatic narrative and then a man stretching his arm out, because that's just entirely goofy.
Yeah, well, but the other characters that they showed the Thing, and that the short brief snippet that we had of the Thing, that was effective with the overall feel of the trailer. But man, I don't know, when Mr. Fantastic started to stretch his arm out, they cut it off real quick. You only saw a little bit of stretching happen, but I don't know. It feels like that the tone of the trailer was extremely dramatic. I don't know that that's going to carry over into an actual Fantastic Four movie very well.
Well,
but
to me,
oh, go ahead.
Oh, well, I was going to say, to me, it looks more like it's not going to be so much a superhero movie, so much as a science fiction movie in which the characters swap and have superpowers.
I can totally see that.
I feel like that is the best place you can take the Fantastic Four, because when you play it like a cut and dry superhero movie, you get the last two movies that happened. Which,
yeah, they were.
In my opinion, I feel like the majority opinion is that they were completely rubbish. Like, you just could not enjoy them properly.
I remember more about the first Fantastic Four than I do about the second. I remember thinking that the Silver Surfer looked cool. It seemed like a cool villain. But when I think about the two movies, the second one, I can't remember anything about it. I don't know what that means, but what I know is that I didn't like it when I saw it, and I don't remember anything about it now. Except for the fact that the Silver Surfer was in there. And he seemed kind of cool. But man,
yeah, the Silver Surfer is an awesome character in himself, so I think they were really banking off that. But the fact that the only thing you can remember about that movie is the Silver Surfer is very sad.
Who was the actual villain of that movie? What's the planet that flies around and
Unicron?
I don't think that's what it was. So.
It's Galactus, I think.
Galactus, okay. So, okay. The thing that they didn't touch on in the trailer is, Fox has the rights to both X-Men and Fantastic Four, right?
Yeah.
Are they going to try to tie the two worlds together, or are they doing something totally different with the two?
I think they're doing something totally different, because there's rumors that they're going to do an X-Men TV show instead. Which makes so much sense to me.
Instead of what, though? Instead of tying the two together, or they're going to... Yes. Because they're also making X-Men movies.
I don't know why I said instead, but there are rumors of a TV show, which I want to talk about how that makes so much sense to me.
I think the TV show has a lot of promise for the simple fact that all of the X-Men movies have been about Wolverine, essentially. And obviously, in a TV show, they couldn't get Hugh Jackman in every episode, or, really probably many episodes at all. So they would actually have to rely on the universe being awesome, which it already is, when, in contrast, in the movies, they just rely on Hugh Jackman being Wolverine and Wolverine being badass. And they might actually have to pay attention to the universe and some of the cool characters and actually make a good, meaningful story that doesn't revolve around Wolverine being Wolverine.
You know, I poke fun at Wolverine. I like what Days of Future Past. I think that was Wolverine 7, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Wolverine 7, I think.
Technically, yeah.
And I called it that. As soon as I came out of the theater, I was like, man, that was Wolverine 7. Pretty good movie. You know what?
Granted, he actually had a huge role in the comic story arc there.
He did, because he actually did. He was the one that got sent back in time.
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't.
He wasn't.
Oh, who got sent back to... Oh, was it...
Kitty.
Okay, yeah, see, that's what I thought, is that Kitty got sent back in time because... Okay, I didn't actually read the comic ever, but I've heard talk about the comic. But I thought that Kitty got sent back in time. And it was especially odd how Kitty had time-traveling powers in the movie. I don't know. Were they trying to, not slight Kitty by not sending her back? And giving her powers of sending people back as, like, a consolation prize for not being the one who actually goes back in the movie?
Maybe.
What do you guys... I mean, I don't even understand how they justified that. They're like... But then, I guess everybody's pretty much on the slightly alternate universe bandwagon to explain all the discrepancies in Days of Future Past.
I think for a real life explanation, it's the fact that they needed a AAA star to be the person that carries the story. So obviously Wolverine was...
More importantly, they needed a Wolverine because X-Men... The average moviegoer has become accustomed to X-Men movies being about Wolverine.
Mm-hmm. Whoa, there are going to be two villains in the... Sorry.
Oh,
guys, there's going to be two villains in the Fantastic Four movie. Well, no, they're probably going to have...
Spider-Man 2. That never goes wrong.
Well, no, most movies progress from one villain to 3 villains. But Fantastic Four is going to progress from 2 villains to 6 villains. And it's going to be awesome.
What I think they're doing is they're going to have one villain... Because it's... well, I don't know if they're having 2 villains. One guy... You know, it's weird. Because they're going to have Mole Man and Doctor Doom. But I suspect that the Doctor Doom will be a setup for the second movie. And that Mole Man will probably be the first villain. But rumor has, I'm trying to find this article, that the guy narrating the movie was supposed to be the Fantastic Four kid, but older. And we all know that that's probably the most powerful person in the Marvel Universe, right? Right? We all know that?
Yeah.
Am I wrong about that? Because in order
he has, like, everything ability.
I've heard of him.
Because I think Onslaught got his abilities from him and the X-Man.
Oh man, Onslaught. Wait, is that the one that I have to fight at the end of Marvel vs. Capcom?
I have no idea.
Because that guy's awesome. Hold on, let me check. I need to check actually, because I need to know this now.
Oh. On a quick side note, while he's checking that, speaking of superhero movies, has anyone noticed that they're making a superhero movies about the Suicide Squad?
Yeah.
Jared Leto as the Joker and Will Smith as Deadshot. Amazing.
Yeah, there's a few other people in there that are big names too.
Okay, yeah, Marvel vs. Capcom 1. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that Suicide Squad is definitely going to be a promising movie, but you can go ahead back to that.
Okay, so Marvel vs. Capcom 1, the original one. Onslaught is the final boss. He's awesome. He's really hard to beat, by the way. I usually play Marvel vs. Capcom with a combination of Gambit and my secondary is War Machine. And, man, I can get through that game all the way to fighting Onslaught. I don't know, have you guys ever played Marvel vs. Capcom?
It's been a while for me. I remember playing Marvel vs. Capcom when it was just a PlayStation game.
It is my favorite fighting game. I don't really care for, like, arcade-style fighters all that much. Probably because I didn't ever really spend much of my childhood in an arcade because, you know, I'm kind of too old for that, or too young for that, I guess. My generation.
Nope. I used to play Marvel vs. Capcom in the arcades as a child. You were just left out in.
I don't know. There were no arcades. There were no arcades, in my earlier childhood. So, and then by the time I was a teenager, arcades seriously did not exist at all. So I don't know. My brother would be the generation that totally played Marvel vs. Capcom and stuff because there were still arcades. There were still some arcades around when he was a teenager, and he had the ability to go there on his own time and put his own quarters in. That he got at his own minimum wage job, and but my generation, I feel like that most people, except for Sam apparently, who found an arcade and played at him, was too young.
Yeah, grew up in the 90s. Arcades existed in the 90s.
They really didn't exist.
You could go to any Pizza Hut and play at least
Well, okay, you could go to any Pizza Hut and play a Neo Geo game. You could play Samurai Showdown. You could play Metal Slug. You could play Bubble Bobble.
CC's Pizza, you could do that too.
But outside of Bubble Bobble, Samurai Showdown, and Metal Slug, you pretty much didn't have many options at Pizza Hut. I'm talking real arcades.
Yeah, I can think of 3 arcades that were here.
Well, I lived in
I actually can too. There was an arcade at the Washington Square Mall.
Oh, I can think of 5 arcades now. I grew up in Jonesboro.
Did I give you the other one?
Yeah, I forgot about that one. Me and Hans actually went into that a couple years ago. Okay, so me and Hans used to go to Putt Putt, and then it was later renamed Rascals. That was on Washington Street. And there was a Star Trek game.
I went to that one all the time.
Dude, so there was a Star Trek game there that we could never beat because it was so effing hard. It's you sit in the booth kind of game. Mm-hmm. So we found that game. They sold it to the arcade that was in Washington Square Mall. We found it there. And we played the heck out of that game. Spent like $20 in quarters on it. It was great.
Well, I grew up in Jonesboro, Arkansas, and there was one arcade, and it was called the Silver Ball. And it was located in the Indian Mall. And every time we went to the mall, my parents were like, yeah, you can't have any money. So that was my life. I would go to the Silver Ball and watch other kids play games. And maybe once in a while, as in like a special treat, they would give me like $1. But you know what? At that time, $1 didn't really get you much in an arcade. You got to play like 2 games of 1984 or 1942. 1942, not 1984, because 1984 would be a totally different game than 1942.
Yes, it would. But you're still fighting tyranny.
Very different game.
You'd still be fighting tyranny, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it would be the same.
Oh man, I got all these flashbacks of like games from the arcade. Oh, remember House of the Dead? No, Caleb wouldn't remember that.
Dude,
hey, Matt, remember House of the Dead?
Yeah. I remember. Okay,
yes,
there was this game. There was this game that was. I don't remember which game it was, but it was a game where you had to get on a motorcycle. There was actually like this fake motorcycle, and you got on it, and you actually like leaned side to side, and it controlled it. Yeah. That game was so cool.
There was one. Those if you go to like.
I never played it. This was always the game that was like $1 per play, even in like the mid '90s. And $1 per play in the mid '90s. That was like the high end game of the entire arcade.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I never played that game, but I watched people play it, and I was like, oh, it's so cool. I wish I could play that game.
There's one cool one that I used to play called Beachhead 2000, and it was like a virtual reality game. It had a helmet you pulled over your head. It had these little handles on it, like machine guns.
Was that the one with the tanks and shit?
Yeah, and you just sit on the beach and you shoot people.
I totally played that one. I totally played that one at a bowling alley.
Yeah, like, that game was insane.
That game was really hard.
Yeah, it was. The kids like come up behind you, like make jokes, like faces and stuff, and then luckily for me, I had siblings, so they would chase them off.
Okay, now I'm gonna mention an all-time classic, the Jurassic Park Jeep game, where you sat down in a Jeep.
Now that you said that, I can think of nine arcades that were here in Indiana.
Yep. Personally, one of my all-time favorite arcade games, and you can dispute this, was the Ninja Turtles side-scroller.
That game was so popular. Okay, so I played that game. I played that game at this place in Jonesboro, Arkansas called Kids Sports. I don't think it's even there anymore. But it was basically like just an activity place for kids. Basically, they had
the Discovery Zone.
Yeah, I mean they had the ball pits and they had like ropes you could swing on and just all kinds of different
now
physical
you say
activities.
That, I'm thinking of 11 arcades here that were in Indiana.
They had all kinds of activities you could do, but specifically they had an arcade and they had a Ninja Turtles game in there, and I played it a few times, and you know what? I was not good at that game.
It was very hard as a kid.
Oh, but man, I played Pac-Man. I played Pac-Man there. They had Pac-Man. And
hey, I was
not good at Pac-Man either.
Brief side note, there are a bunch of arcades around Indianapolis right now as we speak. I just want to point out that Dave & Buster's and stuff like that, technically arcades. But that does remind me.
Dave & Buster's is an arcade, and the Circle Center, the downtown mall, still has a fully operational arcade.
Yeah.
Yeah, last time I was there, which was about... I was there about, I'd say, probably 6 months ago. And it's an arcade, but there was literally no one there.
Well, no one goes down.
Yeah, it's never super busy.
You know.
But I do want to point out, I think earlier we mentioned that Caleb was divorced. And I feel like an arcade game had something to do with that.
I don't think that we did mention that, but I am divorced. I think you just said that I was single.
It was mentioned.
You were mentioned that you're divorced.
Okay, that's fine. Whatever.
So I want to point out that one time me and Caleb and his ex-wife and some other folk went to a Dave & Buster's, and we played a game. And there was a game in which you were like time traveling, you had to kill spiders. So me and Caleb were like, dude, let's play this game together, right? A couple of guys want to kill spiders. We hate spiders. We like machine guns. We like video games.
Okay, hold on. First off, I want to go on record.
No, we didn't know this.
Hold on. I want to go on record saying that I do not hate spiders. Sam hates spiders. I am indifferent towards spiders, but if the goal of the game is to kill spiders, I will kill all the spiders. Anyway,
I also hate spiders, so we can just say that Caleb killed the spiders on my behalf.
Well, no, because here's the thing. When we beat the game, it told us that we had 85% compatibility. Apparently, it was a love test game.
Mm-hmm. It was not obvious.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah. Like, we didn't know.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was not obvious.
I vaguely remember that.
So, like, after we found this out, we thought it was funny, so we decided to have Caleb and his ex-wife play it. Mm-hmm. And they had like a 18% compatibility.
No, it wasn't that bad, but it was bad.
It wasn't
that bad, but it was around like 50 something percent. It was not very good.
No, it was worse than that.
It was not that bad.
It was that bad.
No, I was there.
I remember.
It was not that bad. I had more stake in it than.
Take this the wrong way. Don't take this the wrong way, but Sam told me about that when it happened, and I'm gonna be the voice of reason and the voice of third perspective hindsight and say that from my memory, it was pretty much in between what you guys were saying. It wasn't so bad as 18%.
No, it was not that bad.
But it wasn't 50.
But Sam probably fed you an exaggerated version of the story.
I think Caleb is making up numbers in his head so he doesn't feel so bad about his relationships.
Well, no, there's nothing for me to feel bad about. I mean, my relationship is what it is, and it was what it was, and what happened happened.
The spider game tells the truth.
Yeah, the spider game is honesty. The spider game gave us like a somewhere between 50 and 60% compatibility, and that's whatever. You know what? The spider game was probably pretty much right. And that's fine. At 50 to 60%, your chances aren't that great.
But 85%? You want to take a chance on me?
Sam, I have taken so many chances on you, and it's always panned out.
Guys,
I will take all the chances on you, Sam.
Coming up.
Look, I think that the important thing is that Sam is my hetero life mate, and I know we said that before, but it's still true.
And Stephanie's my hetero life mate. I wonder who Stephanie's hetero life mate is.
But I'm also your hetero life mate.
Well,
so,
no.
Does this
I'm your hetero life mate. She's my hetero.
Yeah. There's a hetero triangle happening.
Does this make me
here.
like your guys' mistress?
No.
Yes, I was going to say the exact same thing. Matt, you're our friendship or French mistress.
No. Not a mistress.
I am the friendstress.
No. We have an open relationship here. There's no mistress.
Obviously.
It's just an open relationship. We're very progressive.
This podcast got really gay.
No, it's not gay. We're hetero life mates. That automatically eliminates all the gay. I love you two.
It's hetero polygamy.
You're the best
with
people.
One wife.
You two are the best people I know.
That's fantastic, because I would definitely agree.
It is pretty sad, isn't it? Whenever you really take stock of yourselves and you think about the fact that you're the best people I know.
If you listen to this podcast and look back on that statement, you're like, wow, these are the best people I know.
But you also gotta,
you know what? It's not a testament to you guys being crap, because obviously we could do better. It's because to me, I know a lot of people. As an entertainer, I know a ton of people. I have tons of acquaintances, tons of friends, tons of this or that. I would still say you guys are in my list of like best people. So
at least the top 100. We're at least in the top 100, right?
Well, I'm honored to make it that high.
Whatever. Anyways, it's a testament to how the rest of the world is just absolute crap.
Yeah, because we suck. And we're in the top of that list.
But they suck more, so it's okay.
Yeah, I know. Let's just give you some perspective. We suck really bad, but we're still way up there on that list.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. So anyway, future Caleb, just in case you look back at this and will listen back at this, and you start to wonder what was going on, keep in mind that past Caleb has drank almost a liter of 10.5% alcohol by volume La Terrible beer by Unibroue at this point.
Yeah, mine doesn't have the LA on it.
He's quite it doesn't say it on the bottle, but if you actually look it up online, it's called La Terrible.
No, I noticed that earlier when I reviewed it on my phone app that it was called that. I'm like, oh, mine doesn't say that.
Yeah, it just says terrible. It says terrible, and that instantly made me want to buy it.
I think that's like marketing to America.
Oh, and it has
because I think that if they had called it La Terrible, the way that La Terrible is spelled is obviously not the terrible.
Yeah, you know, it has an amazing label too. I love it. I love the label. It's just a plain glass bottle with this silvered. It's basically just silvered on label that just says terrible, and I instantly wanted to buy it. Like the moment I saw it, I was like, I need this. I need this beer in my life. So, okay, to recap here, after I've drank this entire beer, I just want to say, I'm glad it was here. I'm happy about this, having been in my life. So, that may not
would
be
you
a really...
actually buy it again, now that you've had more of it?
No, because any beer can make me feel this way. But I'm just saying, I'm happy that this particular beer, was the one that got me here this night.
That's understandable.
I've enjoyed the ride, La Terrible. And I probably won't buy another one of you. And if I do, I might buy another. And just put it back and age it for a while and see how that goes. But, you know, it's not going to be a regular purchase. If I do buy another, it will probably be you know, only one more. But, you know, I just good on you, La Terrible. Because you made this happen tonight. And that's what I needed. So yeah. I feel pretty good about this beer. It has alcohol in it, and so that's the very least I can say about it.
It's beer.
Mm-hmm. So, anyway, anybody else got any more thoughts about the Fantastic Four trailer? That's where we started, but I really don't know what happened after that.
No.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I've only seen a still and the fact that it was confirmed.
I mean...
who is directing it?
I really don't know. Oh, if Sam's directing, I'm totally not gonna see it.
I know.
Oh man. Sorry, Sam. Yeah, you're really good at this. Oh man. Yeah. You know what I realize now, that me saying this in this particular state of mind suggests that I don't actually appreciate Sam's style of directing. That's not true. I actually really do. I find myself... it's weird whenever you have a friend who's doing stuff and you like have to appreciate their work based on its merits. Because when I watch some of Sam's stuff, I think, man, this is really good. And I'm like, good on you, Sam.
Caleb's definitely drunk.
No. Really, seriously, whenever I watch Von Hahn, The Nefarious Schemes of Dr. Von Hahn. When I watch Von Hahn, there are seriously moments in that short film that give me chills. And I'm like, oh, well done, Sam. Well done.
Like what?
And it's, I don't know, specifically off the top of my head. I just know that every time I watch it, I appreciate it for its actual merits. And it's more than just being friends with Sam and, knowing that it's his work. It's weird because Sam has a genuine talent. And the problem is that, he doesn't get very many videos out because life gets in the way and, it's complicated getting stuff done and getting it released. But,
we've certainly attempted more movies than we have actually produced.
So many more movies than we've actually produced. But
when I see us as a group, the things that we have made that have never seen daylight is so vast.
You'd be. It's staggering the amount of footage that exists on hard drives in my computer, Sam's computer.
I have
that will never see the light of day.
Approximately 500 gigabytes of stuff that we never use.
Yeah. But anyway, the point that I'm getting at is that, I'm supportive of Sam because I'm his friend. But occasionally I look at I just watch the video and I'll just be like, I'm genuinely impressed by Sam's vision and his capabilities. And while we don't, as a group, release that much stuff, and most of the stuff we work on ends up not getting released, it doesn't change the fact that, whenever I do watch the stuff that does get released, there are just moments where I'm just like, oh man, this was brilliant. This was brilliant. It was really brilliant. And it's Sam. And I am drunk, but but that doesn't have any bearing on what I think, because what I'm talking about is coming from a place where I was totally sober. And I was just watching The Nefarious Schemes of Dr. Von Hahn, and I was like, this is brilliant. I love that video. If you want to see Sam doing some magic, you need to watch that video, because that video is magical. There are issues. There are issues with it, but those issues were constrained by the realities that we were dealing with at the time. I mean, there was very little budget happening there, and when I say very little budget, I don't mean it in the sense that an independent filmmaker has some sort of investor, and there's under
$100 going on.
Yeah, there was like less than $100 happening there. So
the only thing that I don't like about that movie is that I am slightly illiterate. I suck at spelling.
Well, that's true. And even with me spell checking you, there were a lot of things that slipped through. And I guess it's a testament to my inability to spell.
We really need to start having Stephanie take care of all this stuff.
But, well, and also that's a testament to Adobe's. Oh man, I can't hate on Adobe. They really have gotten things really well integrated together, so it's really easy to fix stuff like that on the fly.
By the way,
it is a testament to Sam's.
Why didn't you just put things into Word and then copy paste them?
No, you see, I don't know. I wasn't there for that part of the writing. What I was there for was the part where we rendered the video and then we saw the typos after it was rendered, and we were like, this took 2 hours. Let's just upload it.
Yeah, that was an executive decision.
It was like, me and Sam were both sitting there watching it after the render was done, and we were hanging out together. And it took seriously like 2 hours to render out the whole video. And, you know, at the point where it was all finished and it was ready to go onto YouTube, and me and Sam were sitting there watching it, and we see typos, we're like, you know what? I don't have another 2 hours. Let's put it up there.
You know, I did the lyric video for Christmas Day completely independently, and I feel you. Because I did a draft video. I just threw things at the wall. I wanted to see how the animations worked, because I was using Sony Vegas. And the whole video got done. I rendered it on my laptop. The render was awful. There was lag after the render, like in the MP4. It was a disaster. And there were a couple typos. And it took forever because I was on a laptop. And I took that extra step to change some of the animation and to fix the typos and do this and that. And
yeah, that's just because you're a better. That's just because you're a better person than we are.
Well, the thing is, I wish I would have I wish I could bring myself to take your guys' route, because, well, no, even then, your guys' had actual like video. So it compensates. Like, there's still like an art form there. In the lyric video, it is just these words.
Yeah, and the really extremely convenient thing about it was the fact that Sam had this whole video staged as a found footage German film from the 30s, which meant that the translation was already really lax. You know, nobody was going to be really scrutinizing the supposed translation of this silent found footage film. So, you know, it all kind of worked together.
Yeah, if anything,
except for that minivan.
More authentic.
Except for that minivan. That was the only part that really didn't fit together, as the minivan driving around.
Those things out.
Yeah.
It was probably like a 2008, 2009 model minivan.
The typos made it more authentic, and as far as the lyric video is concerned, I hated re-rendering that because it took forever. It was awful. It was the worst experience of my life. I have so much more respect for directors that Romanticide has worked with, who do lyric videos and who do, you know, this and that for bands, because even though they have immensely more powerful computers in my laptop, it is still a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Yeah. It sucks. I hope I never have to work with video again, but I know I'm going to have to.
Oh, you're definitely going to have to.
It's just, you know, even if you build the fastest computer ever, which is what I did whenever I built my current computer. At the time, when I built this computer, it was the fastest computer ever. And it's still slow when it comes to video. So you can't win. That's really all there is to it. So Sam, I hear you've been watching the American Horror Story Season 3. And you've got some thoughts about that. What's going on with American Horror Story Season 3?
It's awful.
Yeah? In what way?
The first, there's no horror elements to it at all.
Yeah, it's not horrifying? Because based on the title, I would expect it to be somewhat.
And you know,
horrifying.
The first two seasons were like the first season. Oh, the family's trapped in a haunted house. What are they going to do? Second season, they get stuck in a mental asylum. What are they going to do? This one is stupid. It's literally Harry Potter and the X-Men combined. It's a girl who's a witch, but finds out genetically that she's a witch. Goes to a witch school for witches, and they just do. And it's basically a soap opera with a lot of really good actors. And it's...
So, how far in are you?
I'm halfway through.
So, what has happened? Like, what's the last episode that you watched? I'm trying to... It's been a while since I've seen the series.
Spoilers. They just burned What's-Her-Face at the stake.
Oh, snap. I can never watch the show now.
Okay. Alright. Personally, I really like... I'm trying to remember her name, the actress. She was in Misery.
Kathy Bates.
Yes, I loved Kathy Bates. Her character, like watching her from like the 18th century scenes and then watching her in the present day scenes, that sort of connection in the series honestly made it for me.
Yeah.
And the way that her character comes full circle in present day.
I'm not attacking the actors. I'm saying that they're all good. What I'm saying is that the story is absolutely stupid and bollocks. It's not a horror story.
I will agree. What I will say, though, directly into in rebuttal to what the whole horror story thing, is that apparently I've only seen bits and pieces of the newest season, but apparently in the newest season they have started connecting all of the seasons. And so I think what they're trying to do is sort of say, okay, well, all of these seasons have sort of a different angle. Some are more focused on the horror aspects than others, and some are more about the drama with peculiar or like more out there fantasy angles. But eventually it's all going to come back to the sci-fi horror thing. And honestly, from the bits that I've watched of the newest season, it's not really that horror story either. They've taken that sort of like drama angle and ran with it.
I've heard it's worse than the third one, how it's so hit and miss, and it's actually one of the worst rated seasons. A lot of mixed reviews.
Yeah, and it's still incredibly interesting. Like, Neil Patrick Harris is a magician in it, and that's pretty awesome. But other than that, it's like, whatever.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, if season 3 should have been like Suspiria, a girl should have gone to a boarding school that turns out to be run by witches. And that would have been cool. I've been like, ooh, what's going to happen? Is she going to get alive? Is she a good guy? Finds out she's a witch? I don't know. That'd be cool. But no. It's just like, hey, let's take the X-Men element of it and then just make a drama with a bunch of good actors.
Yeah, they like took the shock value out of it in the first episode.
Yeah. Also, the whole Evan Peters thing, that just should not be in the show.
Totally.
Evan Peters.
Frankenstein. Mom rapes him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you know what was kind of weird about the Coven season? What was weird about the Coven season is that the headmaster's husband is like a killer.
Yeah.
Like, that whole part is pretty, like, I did not expect that whatsoever, because like he was having an affair and then that whole thing was going on. That was crazy.
Well, apparently there's a lot. I don't know. We'll see. All I know is that this season's disappointing me. I'm kind of sad at it. It should go die. And I hope to see every single character die too, because there aren't any likable characters in it. Yes, the actors are good. I'm not attacking the actors because I love every actor in that.
Oh yeah, the Coven is that one season where you hope that every actor gets what they like. Every character gets what they deserve.
Yeah, there aren't any good guys. It's kind of sad. There's no antagonist. There's no protagonist. I mean, I guess there's protagonists in the respect that there's a group of people we focus on, but they're all bad guys. I don't like it.
Well, they're all bad people. They're all people that you don't really want to root for.
Yeah.
Well, I think the important thing is that, speaking of... Oh, go ahead, Sam.
I was going to say one final thought. Human voodoo doll powers is the coolest thing ever.
I would agree with that. Real quick, though, what do you think about the female witch that is completely obsessed with Stevie Nicks? I can't remember her name.
Oh, a stupid character.
If anything, though, she seems like the protagonist because she is like...
Talking about the one that resurrects people from the dead, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, stupid character.
She is stupid, but she's like... She does not mean anyone any harm. She also does not give a fuck.
Yeah.
Hey, man, cool. Just because it's the protagonist doesn't mean it's not stupid.
Oh, she's not the protagonist.
Well, but... Okay,
no,
whatever.
She's not. She's like a sub-character. It's funny.
A sub-character, yeah. She's in it less than anyone.
So anyway, hey, you beautiful, beautiful people who listen to our podcast. We're done. We're done for the night. But thank you for listening. seriously, from the bottom of my heart, I love you guys.
Caleb, think about what you're saying. Think about the context of what you're saying.
Okay, I think you're all right. You're a pretty cool person who spends their time listening to us ramble about things, and as a result, it's strictly platonic, but I still love you. I love you. So anyway, thank you for listening, and if you wanna get more content from us, you can find us at various different social networking places. For example, you can find Matt at places that he will tell you here in just a second.
You can find me at Matthew Vehemity at twitter.com. Like Matthew Vehemity at Matthew. I've had a bit to drink, guys. You can find me at Matthew Vehemity on Twitter, and I believe it's Matthew Vehemity on Instagram. And for Romanticide, it is Romanticide at Romanticide Band on Twitter. And for Facebook, it is romanticideband.com/Facebook or vice versa. I don't know. I've had a bit to drink. Just, type things in. You'll find it.
Yeah. So, anyway, Sam, where can we find you on places?
You can find me on the Twitter at sdumas138 at symbol sdumas. That's SDUMAS 138, even though it's pronounced Dumas. You can get my updates for video stuff there. I'll tweet some things sometimes. Caleb is really, really drunk, and this is hilarious.
No, I'm fine.
You can follow me on Instagram. Keep in mind, I am friends with Matt, so if you follow me, you might get to see nudes of him. I'm just saying. Follow me.
So anyway,
what am I called on Instagram? I guess I should.
Oh yeah. He's called I'm Your Pallbearer.
Yeah, that's what I'm called.
That's what he's called. Hey, you know what really matters though? Is that if you haven't found this podcast by going to the actual White Trash Voltaire Facebook page, you should totally go there. It is facebook.com/White Trash Voltaire. Go there, like our page. I would really appreciate it if you liked our page because I don't know, it's like a personal achievement for me whenever I see that we get a like, which hasn't happened in a while. So if you could please, seriously, hey, you who's listening to this podcast, like our page. It'd be wonderful for me. It'd make me feel a sense of achievement that I usually don't get to feel. So I need that in my life right now. I'm in a dark place. Anyway. Seriously though, thanks for listening. And you will hear from us again next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, and hopefully Matt will actually be here. So, it won't sound awful. Bye.
Hey, you know what I realized about Caleb when he gets drunk, Matt?
What?
He gets lovey.